Every day I get up, I'm super motivated and grateful. It doesn't matter if I'm working real estate or I'm going to do some CrossFit with a big group of people at CrossFit that's like family too. I think for me, just, being able to get up every day and just love what I do is hard to say for a lot of people.
I used to chase the ROI all the time, return on investment. And over the course of time, that has evolved into what I call return on life. Hey, this is Randy Dick here, and I am live with an amazing guest. Return on Life podcast. It's about the ROI, not about the ROI. Too often we chase the return on investment, but we forget about what? Life. It's about return on life. And today's guest, I think, has got so much to share with us today. It is the amazing Ty Corsie, and Ty is an awesome, awesome agent, not only in life, but in person too, because you're going to see him all over Instagram. He's got 80,000 followers. Oh my goodness. But we're here live today with Ty. Welcome here, Ty.
Thanks, Randy. Appreciate you having me on. Yeah, this is great. It's fantastic. I love watching us each grow and kind of the past few years, growing together, working together, networking. So yeah, let's have a chat.
Real estate comes to you quite honestly, right? It comes through your DNA. Your dad is an agent. For how many years has he been licensed?
Dad's licensed for 45 years. This is his 45th year in real estate. Started with a carbon copy, one-page data sheet, and now it seems to be about 40 pages. But I learned from the best. Dad taught me everything about the business, and of course, just being honest with people, and that's where your business will thrive. So.
Well, I'm really excited to dive into how you do your business, why you do your business, what's working, what's trending, what's not. But maybe share a little bit about those early days when you started real estate, and maybe tie in return on life and what you were thinking. Okay, so I'm going to get into real estate, and how does this fit my life?
Well, still trying to figure it out, Randy, every day. I mean, when I started real estate, it was all feet on the ground. It was pounding pavement. It was knocking on doors. It was photocopies at Staples. And it really was just the ABCs of real estate. I think in full circle, it's coming back to that now.
Always be closing?
Always be closing. That's what I thought from day one. In fact, my first sale was on the hood of a truck. I double-ended it the first day, and that's when I fell in love with real estate. I sold a half-acre lot in Panorama Ridge for $308,000. That property today is worth $2.6 million. I still remember it like it was yesterday. I double-ended it. And I said to Dad, I love this. I want to continue on. So that was the very first sale in real estate. I was hooked instantly. But it's funny now because everything's coming back full circle where we do have to pound the pavement. We do have to bang on doors. We have to go back to the old school marketing. So
right. Yeah, well, that's right. Markets are always changing. We know they change. They go through the boom, slump, recovery, boom, slump, recovery. We know that happens. We just don't know the duration or when it's going to happen. If we had that magic crystal ball, we'd probably all be on yachts in the Mediterranean.
We would.
But we don't.
Yeah.
We don't. So how do you deal with understanding the markets? How do you understand that process? And before we were on camera here, you were sharing that you're just absolutely inundated with people asking you to come and help them understand the market today. How do you deal with all that?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, Randy, because in a market where it slows down, my phone blows up. I think it comes down to people realizing that, they're not going to use their brother-in-law, they're not going to use their friend's referral. They're really just going to go with a pro. And when the market slows down, we ramp up. And that's where I kind of double and triple down the marketing and really just get a hold of getting that market share. We've lived through 2000. I got licensed in 2002. So we've seen that 2003-04 market, 2008, 2018. So this is just normal. Every 6 to 8 years, we do see a little bit of a blip, a slowdown in the market, and then essentially people come back in. But people still want to live in British Columbia, especially Canada, and our market still thrives. There's lots of buyers. They're just sitting on the fence.
Right. I think markets move in 10-year cycles. I just finished a great book. I highly recommend it, Shine, by Gino. Floyd Wickman's son, Gino Wickman. And if you've been in the real estate game long enough, that name, Floyd Wickman, like legendary trainer. And this is his son teaching about entrepreneurship and how to handle our drive, desire as entrepreneurs and how to manage that and come to peace with it.
Okay.
And we're going to get in there because it's some good stuff. But he talks about the 10-year cycle in any business. 2 years are absolutely crazy, like off the chart.
Yeah.
6 years are like, okay. And then 2 years can absolutely devastate somebody's business and actually bankrupt them.
Yeah.
And I think we're actually in those 2 horrible years right now in that 10-year cycle, because it is incredibly challenging for agents today. Volume is down, sellers' expectations are high, and properties aren't selling as quick or as fast as they have in the past. How do you deal with that when you're on listing appointments? Because I recall in my busier days, I was brought in as the benchmark. So they had an agent already, but they wanted to make sure that a pro was coming in to make sure that they're priced right and they understood the market, because their friend, relative, or neighbor they didn't trust, I was the benchmark.
Okay.
Are you experiencing that in your business right now?
Yeah, I had 2 listing appointments yesterday, Randy, that I walked out of both of them. They were pretty clear up front and said that we've had a few realtors in, we're friends with a few agents, so we just kind of want to get somebody's professional opinion on it. I feel like that is a compliment, because I know that they're having me in, maybe not going to use me, but they're going to bring in a pro, just like they had for you. Expectations are the 2021 market. I mean, really, everybody wants 2021 prices. Everybody wants maximum exposure. Everybody wants it sold next week. But the truth is, things take a lot of money and time and patience. And if you don't over communicate with these sellers, they are just going to forget about you and try somebody else. So that's one thing I really thrive on, is I over communicate with everybody. I give you an update when there's no update. People love it, right? Mm-hmm. I sit down with them and I tell them what I'm going to do. Both people called me yesterday and said, we love your presentation. We want to go with you. But one person wanted $300K more than what I said, and the other person wanted me to do it for a fraction of the commission of what I charge. In both scenarios, I just said, have a good day. We'll go our separate ways, no hard feelings, and you try somebody else. I'm not going to work for free, and I'm also not going to put my money in something I don't believe. So those are kind of both scenarios in yesterday, and both those cases I walked away and felt good about it.
I love that. I love that. Well done. How do you communicate? Because there's a lot of listeners that are wondering, okay, so if communication is so important, what is your cadence of communication? How do you communicate, and why do you communicate?
I think for sellers, one big mistake the realtors make is they come in, they list it, they promise all this stuff, and then they disappear, especially in this kind of market, right? I think sellers need to know that when there's nothing happening, they're okay, because there's nothing happening everywhere. So I call my realtor friends. I get updates every week, our Royal LePage updates. We have huge market share kind of just facts and specs. We tell everybody what's going on. But I think every week when I give somebody a walkthrough video showing the analytics and the clicks on their house, my goal is to be the top 10 most viewed house in that certain sub area. If I can show you that we're top 3 or top 1, I'm doing my job. People are looking, they're clicking, they're just not getting through the door, and that's the market. So my updates for you are, I'm going to show you how I'm badass at exposuring your house, but if nobody's coming through, that's just the way the market is. Right. And when people see that they're the most viewed house, they're fine with it. And that's in my updates every week are that. It's, we're getting the clicks. Here's my online ads. I have a digital marketing company. Here's where we stand. We're the most viewed house. People are okay with that because I'm doing my job, right? So that's kind of how I overcome the communication part. I just provide them updates every week. Even if it's no update, I show them why we're number 1.
Love that. I call that GoPro work. So it's like you're wearing a GoPro the entire day and your clients can see what you're doing and how you're doing business, and they feel good about that. That is a GoPro experience. So love that.
That's where Instagram stories come into play, because they see me that I'm busting my ass every day, day to day. And most of my sellers follow me. They watch that. If they see I'm doing the things that I need to do to work hard, they understand. They understand. So that communication and that potential price reduction is a lot easier. Yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears. Let's shift gears and talk about your social, because this is what's really driving your business. Instagram is really the driver. And I think many of our listeners, many of the realtors, entrepreneurs, it doesn't just fall into real estate. We as entrepreneurs are always trying to increase our business, our awareness. And how do you, did that come naturally to you? Or was that something like, gosh, I'll try this?
Yeah.
Or did you make a commitment to it and just go for it?
I give credit to one of my best friends, Rohan, who owns Grow Rep Marketing, digital marketing company. He told me early in the game, if you don't get on video and stay on video, you're going to get dominated. So I just started doing video. And whether it was day-to-day Instagram or it was little content pieces or listing videos or whatever it is, I get in early in the game on video and I stayed on video. You are in a transitioning market where people aren't spending money on podcasts, certain content pieces. They did it before. They found like it didn't work, so they pull back. Okay, this is where you're going to stand out tenfold. In fact, I couldn't even name 3 males in the industry that stand out, let alone 2 females. Nobody wants to do this. There's such a huge market share to gain if you want to do video. And I consistently turn the notch up. I consistently stay ahead of the curve. I have 3 months worth of content filmed and sitting there in my Dropbox that I can release every week. Whether it's at Tours with Ty, some beautiful showcasing properties where I interview the realtor, show me their house, or whether it's my new TCG, which is Ty City Guide, where I go through certain cities and showcase why I love those little sub areas. That stuff is filmed and ready to go. So video marketing is the way to go right now, and you really can make a mark if you put a dent in it right now because everybody else is peeling back. Video was saturated months ago. Now it's just nobody's doing it. This is your opening. This is your door.
What I heard is consistency, and this is where many, many entrepreneurs fail. They try it for a month, 2 months, maybe 3. It is the long haul. It's a marathon, and you've been doing the marathon race when it comes to video. Now, you are mostly on Instagram, is that right?
Yeah, Instagram's been my baby. Of course, everything's shared through the Facebook profile platform, but YouTube this year is my dent.
Okay.
It's where I'm trying to do that long-form content, more raw video. People do love quite raw. It doesn't have to be professional, right?
In fact,
like just walking with a camera.
Do you prefer raw? If you do, make sure you put it in the comments because I think it's raw.
Raw video actually gets more views, believe it or not. People love walking around with a camera showing what's going on, and it just could be me and the camera. It could be me and Jeremy, my filming guy. But that's where long-form video content, if you consistently keep the people engaged with stats, with certain things edited in a YouTube video, you will make some big strides.
But keep it clean, right?
Keep it clean. Keep it clean. Be very careful what you post. Your opinions, keep it to yourself sometimes.
Yeah. So long form, what do you plan on doing on long form?
So, podcasts, of course, Tours with Ty, which, we do 5 to 8 minute video tours of houses. My in there is, of course, I involve that listing agent. That listing agent is going to get huge exposure of their listing, and not many guys say no to me when I call them up. I'm going to say, Randy, do you want to be featured in this Tours with Ty? I'm going to show the best penthouse in White Rock. Do you want to open the door? I'll show you your name and your company and your handle. You tell me about the house. I'll go through the house. I'll run ads for it. It's a win-win for everybody, right? Yeah. It's been something I've been calling realtors, asking them, and nobody said no. Like everybody's loved it, right?
Well, I think now you're going to get a bunch of people reaching out direct to say, listen, I'm in.
Yeah, if you have a beautiful house, let's do a Tours with Ty. It works.
Yeah.
And then as I mentioned before, that Ty Cities Guide where I go around certain little sub areas and cities and I show you the hidden gems, best little coffee shops, little restaurants, mom and pop shops, support the small business. Because in this economy, in this market, man, you got to show some of the small businesses.
Right.
Show them why they're the best. Yeah.
Yes. Highlighting them. Do you plan a day, a time? Like, is this consistently on a weekly basis? Do you pick a Thursday, a Saturday? What do you do?
Yeah, for video, for shoots? Yeah, so we shoot all of our listings on Thursdays. So Thursdays are our media days. So that's the day that we shoot listings. Content for my calendar when it comes to Tours with Ty, Ty City Guide, or other content is already in my calendar 1 year in advance. So I've already put in my calendar with my videographer 250 content videos. Our goal is 250 this year. Last year we did 212. This year is 250. So I put in the calendar 250 shoots through the year. That's already in there. Got 1 for next week, got 2 the next week, got 4 the next week. So that's already in there. So I plan the whole year.
Incredible.
So I know where it is.
Incredible. Most of us are, worrying about how many homes we're going to sell. That's our goal. And you're doing how many shoots am I going to do or how many video I'm going to make, which is really incredible. So what is the lag time? So you do a video about something. What's the timeline? Is there a lag time before it actually makes an impact in the market? And can you ROI the video to a sale? Yeah,
listing videos are a must. So those, of course, are filmed on Thursdays, edited and back to me for Monday, and they go in on Mondays. When it comes to content pieces, whether it's features, Tours with Ty, whatever it is, the ROI is hard to track. It's hard to track if it's working. But what is working is when I sit down at somebody's table and said, hey, I watched a little feature you did in Langley City. I thought it was really cool. You talked about the ramen place. I go there all the time. So that link when I sit down makes me feel like it worked. And it's the same thing with taking 42 buses in Langley. I've taken 42 bus wraps. It's a huge commitment. It's a huge investment. I don't know if I'm getting calls directly off buses, but what I am getting is sitting down at the table and people seeing, I followed you on the way home, right? I followed you on the way home. I love this book. I followed you on the way home. So that works. So that's kind of the indication of, okay, all these little pieces are making people call.
Right. Now, this podcast is about return on life. And what you're doing is you're leveraging video to be in 80,000 people's minds versus being the one at a time. Yet it takes time and effort to do this. Can you share with our listeners the value of doing it this way versus any other way?
I mean, with video, there's no doubt somebody's going to get to know you a lot easier. They're going to feel that passion. They're going to feel how much you love the business. And of course, video conveys a message that just you can't put in a text message.
Exactly.
And you can't put in a photo. So if you do day to day and show people what you do day to day, I feel like you can't lie. You can't lie if you watch me every single day for a year.
Over and over and over again.
It is what it is.
Yes.
I get up, I go to the gym at 5 a.m. I get that out of the way. I eat my lunch. I have, of course, meetings. I have Zoom meetings. I go through the team. And like, this is my day to day. And I truly do love it. But video conveys a message way faster.
Right. What it does do is it conveys a message of trust.
Yeah.
See, every decision, every person we meet, we've got a trust meter. And we go, where do I put this person on my trust meter?
Yeah.
But because they've seen you over and over and over again, their trust has been building without them actually meeting you. And then the moment you walk in, they know you as if you're a celebrity.
Especially, like I said, especially in a market that's turning down.
Yes.
In a market that's very busy, you would have to convince that person why they should go with you because they have 5 other options. In a market that goes down, these people want a pro. Mm-hmm. They have me over to their house. They say, sold by ties over, right? Did you bring the listing paperwork? Where do we sign? Why don't you keep this book? It looks expensive. We don't need to keep it. Keep your pen too. Use it for somebody else. Where do we sign this listing agreement? What are the fees again? We don't care. Where do we sign? That's the type of market that we're in if you can control the market by your marketing, by your video. So those are the conversations that it's our ultimate goal as a realtor, to sit down at a table and they say, where's your pen? Where do we sign? Okay. That gets me up in the morning. That's why I love this business. Mm-hmm. I love when people, they don't even ask the fees. I had a guy the other day say, that's it? He was from Toronto. The fees in Toronto are double. Mm-hmm. He looked at our fees and said, 3% on the balance. Shouldn't it be 5? Like he had that feeling of, he knew what Toronto was.
Yes.
He thought we were too cheap and he asked if he can increase the fee. Right? I mean, that type of relationship with somebody, nothing beats it.
Okay, you heard it here. You want increased fees? You need to bring the value before you show up at the front door. You can't tell in that moment. You have to tell before through a story, through those opportunities on social media, whatever it may be. Okay, so that was fantastic. Let's move away from social, business, and all that. Let's talk a little bit about life, because busy, motivated, activated entrepreneurs can sometimes get ahead of themselves in some ways. I've done it.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess that you've done it, where it's like, holy cow, I can't even hang on anymore. This thing's going too fast. How do you manage all of that? Because you're a super successful, super busy agent. How do you keep it all in control?
I think the moment that you realize you can tell people no, or we're going to do it a different day, or you're going to pick a day that you're going to show somebody a house, is where the market and the business gets a little bit easier on your brain. If you are an agent that consistently will take an appointment at any time of the day, you'll just say yes to everything. Trust me when I say this, you will burn out. I've had 2 major burnouts in my life. At this point right now, I will pick the appointment. I will tell you that Wednesday at 5 doesn't work. I'm going to meet you there at 7. I'm going to pick an appointment where I get to have dinner at home, where I get to spend some time and come home and reset. I am not going to go and be there for every showing. I have a beautiful team that will help me out. I don't hang lock boxes. I don't do open houses. I don't meet appraisers. I don't open up for inspections. There are things that I've just eliminated out of my life to, one, be able to do 100 plus transactions a year, because this is what you have to do, and two, actually have a bit of a life and enjoy it. Go for a ride in my hot rod, go to the gym, go to CrossFit, go golfing with buddies. That's what I enjoy, right? And then the people and the public sees that I'm also a human too, and I tell them, look, like Sunday, I'm taking the day off. Like, we're going to meet Monday. If you tell them up front, these people, they'll appreciate that.
Yeah,
they'll appreciate that. If you have somebody that's going to steamroll you and tell you when you're coming, probably don't want to work with them.
Okay. So here we are at this podcast. You're energized. You're like revved. And together we've got this energy. But who's Ty? Who's Ty in the uninterrupted, where you've got nobody in front of you and you can just be Ty? Who's Ty then? Are you the same, different version of what I'm seeing now?
Yeah, Ty, what you see Ty is Ty. This is who I am. I think that's why I've been very successful in real estate. What comes across is what is. I was taught by Dad just to be honest with people, be trustworthy, and your business will just explode. And also, think of money at the very end. Never consider your fees and money. It all will come. It all eventually will come.
Do you ever add up commissions?
Never have I added up commission.
Neither have I.
I don't.
Never once.
I'll never figure it out unless somebody asks.
Okay, here's the commission. I've never once done that.
Nope. The second that you think about that, you put pressure on yourself. You'll realize maybe what your per hour is on that, or you're giving away half of a referral and it'll stress you out. Don't think about the money. Don't think about the money.
Don't think about the money. You heard it here first. Val, what's your greatest gift? Is it a curse? Is it a curse?
No, I would say my greatest gift would be my parents. My parents have been my biggest supporters ever. It's not a curse. My mom and dad have been the most supportive people, married 46 years. My dad's my role model. And I get to see my dad at work every week and then separate the family life and the work life together and go home for a barbecue with him and mom. It's a pretty cool point at this time in my career.
Wow.
Whereas before it would be work, work, work. We talk at work at the dinner table. We text each other about work. Now it's I can go home and enjoy the barbecue. And Dad can tell me about his fascia boards that he replaced. And those types of things. My parents are my greatest gift. There's no question.
That's great. How about outside of your parents? What is a gift that you have?
I would say, for me...
Or maybe let's say... people, I think this word's overused, superpowers. I call it primal powers.
Yeah. Primal powers.
What is primal in you that comes out that just makes Ty? What are those powers within you?
Every day I get up, I'm super motivated and grateful. It doesn't matter if I'm working real estate or I'm going to do some CrossFit with a big group of people at CrossFit that's like family too. I think for me, just, being able to get up every day and just love what I do is hard to say for a lot of people. I think we get very frustrated and caught up in the day-to-day. I think we got caught up in keeping up with the Joneses. And I've never been a guy that's like that. My personal life is very private. I don't show my cars or my house or whatever it is. I just don't think it matters. I don't think it matters at the end of the day. Because I would be super happy in a little one-bedroom condo, But do I want to golf and do CrossFit and all that? Yeah, I do. Like, that's what I want to do. I want to be out there with people, meeting people, volunteering. I volunteer a lot. I'm a silent donor on a lot of big fundraisers. I'm very silent about it. I don't push it on the social side, but it makes me feel good. Makes me feel
Love
good.
that.
Yeah.
That warms my heart.
Yeah.
Is your business bulletproof?
No, it's not bulletproof.
Is any business bulletproof?
I don't think any business is bulletproof, but the only way to protect yourself is just believe that you're the damn best. And I feel like when I go and sit down at a house, if you want to hire, I'm the Bentley of real estate. I am the best. You want to hire somebody else, that's fine, but I'm the Bentley of real estate. And that comes with a $60 bound book that I leave you. It's just the quality is top notch. It is 6 steps ahead of everybody else. So,
okay, let's talk about Bentley then. Bentley didn't become Bentley overnight. Bentley isn't Bentley what we know as Bentley. They had moments in their history that they had to fight through things. So I've got many of those moments in my life. I call them crucible moments, challenges that just rocked me, shaped me, tore me to pieces to get where I am today. What are some of those in your world? Do you have any?
I would say what maybe, turned for the business or made me kind of look at a different way was maybe losing.
Because you're not the Ty that started.
No, certainly not.
Like, and
No, before I would
even over
do
the last
anything at any
4 or
time.
5 years, I've seen a change in time.
Yeah, anything at any time I would do before. But when you lose a relationship, and a very key relationship, and you lose that family, that is kind of your sign of you need to do something different. Because it's not all business. Because you can't wake up and talk to somebody about 30 listings if you don't have anybody, right? And you need to talk about life. You can't talk about work all the time. And so for me, when I come home, I've switched gears, and I just try to not talk about really work. I want to talk about my magnolia tree that I planted that I'm proud of. I want to talk about a little putting green that I have that I putt in the backyard. The small victories, the small wins.
Yes.
So for me, it was kind of having some loss to realize that, it's not all worth it.
Yeah.
It's not all worth it.
Something that worked really well for me and still does, you might want to listen to this, take this down, write this down, is that before I got home, I would actually pull over on the side of the road a block away from my house.
Yeah.
And I'd clear my phone. I would literally go through my phone, make sure that there's nothing pressing for the next 2 hours.
Yeah.
Then I had what I called the monkey tree.
Okay.
So I'd pull in my driveway and I'd hang all the monkeys from the day on the tree, just, figuratively. So I didn't pull them into the house with me. It was a mental and a spiritual, cleansing before I went into the house to see my family.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Because if I brought them, they would see it every day. If I brought it in, I wasn't present, first of all.
Yeah.
And then I would have this I'd be wearing it all during dinner, all evening. So I realized that I needed to clear all of that out before I showed up. So clearing the phone, hanging the monkeys on the monkey tree.
I like that. I was recently, there was a real estate counselor. She's like a real estate counselor. She came into our office and spoke. And she talked about the importance of when you get home, don't give your person that last 5% that you have, right? You've been drained the whole day. You're definitely going to be showing them, what you went through in the day. So it's exactly that. Sit in your car for 5 minutes, have a bit of a reset, go through some of that BS stuff that pissed you off through the day, but don't bring it inside.
Yeah.
Don't bring it inside. It's not worth it.
Hey, let's shift gears to something that I think is a really important thing for us as Canadians. I know we've got a lot of people from around the world on this, but there's this phenomena that people are saying, I'm done with Canada.
Yeah.
I'm moving to this country, this continent, that continent. And we are in the front lines because we're meeting people in their homes and they're sharing this with us. I'm thinking about selling everything and disappearing.
Yeah.
What can you pull from that our listeners need to hear? Because this is the fabric of who we are. This country of Canada is lost its way. Mm-hmm. What do you think about this? What do you share about this?
I do think there's more and more people that are fed up. There's more and more people that, want to make their own choice and whatever that is. And I think they start with the classic moving up north or moving, into the interior and getting some sort of piece in the bush where it's away from everything. And from there, maybe they move somewhere else. I've had a lot of friends go to Mexico recently and they haven't looked back. They've loved it. I'm selling a couple of investment condos. And by the way, a lot of people are selling their investment condos. They're just kind of pulling out and maybe putting the money somewhere else. They're going to move to Spain. I mean, they're selling everything here in South Surrey, moving to Spain. It's a decision that they thought of long and hard, but you know what? They want to start a new life there. And it's not uncommon now to hear people pack up and go. It is harder and harder to own real estate here and for it to make sense, unfortunately. And other places, it does make sense. And so some people have researched it and looked into it, where Airbnbs are allowed. Cough, cough, government, right? And, they're making money somewhere else. It's better return on their investment. So
right.
A lot of people have moved. Yeah, and I've supported them. It's been a cool journey watching them go and then hearing them a year later and just really they're loving where they are.
Right. Well, real estate is really about capitalism, and capitalism is alive and well when real estate does well. Unfortunately, not just Canada, not just British Columbia, but a lot of countries around the world are becoming so socialistic thinking that they've lost the capitalistic spirit within that country. Mm-hmm. And when you lose the capitalistic spirit, you send all the doers, all the big thinkers, the big idea guys away. Mm-hmm. And so it's really hard for me to watch this because I love this country of Canada. I love this place of British Columbia, but it's just trending in the wrong direction.
I agree. It's hard to watch some of my biggest investors do so well over these years to step back and think, well, I'm going to give up 50% of this tax. What's the point of leveraging out and trying to provide 25 industrial units to people if I'm going to get taxed to the hill? Yeah. And it's been a tough watch to see some of my real golds, some of my awesome people that have been great investors all the years, pull out and do something different. It's hard to watch,
right? So with that in mind, where is real estate going? So where do we see real estate going? We could talk about provincially, nationally, globally, and then we could talk about the importance of you and I, the real estate agent in all this.
Yeah.
So where do you see the markets going?
I think locally, provincially, I think we're in that 2-year sort of downturn. Mm-hmm. I don't see the market changing a lot in the next 12 months. I really don't. I mean, the interest rates are coming down, chat. It's done, right? We might see 0.25% maybe the end of this year. That will just do nothing on a number. Prices haven't moved too much, which is really interesting because the buyers are all sitting there watching and wondering, well, why aren't the prices coming down, right? Townhouses are still similar. Things are down 50,000, 100,000, but in the grand scheme of things in 2020, 2021, we saw a $400,000 increase in 12 months.
Yes.
I think over the next 12 months, it's going to be stable, but pretty stale from a buyer's standpoint. There's not many buyers that are coming in. You just can't have, we have 20 plus listings and we get one touch base a day. That's one touch base to show one of 20 listings. Where are the buyers? The buyers are going to hang tight. They're going to step back. They're going to wait. And I think they're going to wait for about 6 to 12 months. I don't think we see much change in 12 months.
Yeah. Well, not many are getting on the bottom ring of the property ladder. You got to get people on the bottom ring to move people up. And people are just not getting on the bottom ring. And then, we talk about people liquidating and disappearing. Like none of that is working in our favor. And then we have a lot of mortgages coming due here in the next 6 to 18 months, which, we're in the trenches talking to people. And it's like, what are they going to do? They need to liquidate in some ways, right? So
there's a guy in my office, a mortgage broker. He has 78% of his portfolio renewing this year.
Wow.
It's huge. It's been in the business for 30 years.
Wow.
78 of his portfolio is renewing this year. These people are going from 2% to 6%.
Right. So I mean, we as humans are social tellers, not truth tellers. We'll tell the majority of the truth, so socially it's accepted. But if we're really telling the truth, what would we be saying? I'm a little worried about where we're going.
Yeah, I am too, Randy. Yeah, there's no doubt. It makes me a bit nervous, as to where we're going. And, what's the point of maybe owning something right now, right? Whereas, over the last 20 years, 25 years, you and I have seen some of our clients make huge strides in the real estate world. I mean, huge gains. The person that I was telling you about started in a fourplex in Cloverdale and now owns 9 commercial buildings. He started with a little fourplex in Cloverdale. That mentality of starting low and working your way up, I just don't know if it's there anymore, where people are willing to wait and do that ladder. Yeah. But, I miss that kind of, that style, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure we have the patience to move up that ladder. I
think so. I think too many people want to start in a big detached house. Yeah. Guys, get in. Just get into something, right? A 2-bedroom condo is just fine. You don't need to get into a basement house in Brookswood on a quarter acre right off the bat. Start with a townhome. Just get into the market. Yeah. Rents are going nowhere. In fact, I'm a little bit nervous of the rental market over the next 12 months. You've seen this new notice coming in where it's going to go from a 2-month to a 4-month notice. You're seeing Airbnbs disappear. You are seeing people take 2-year leases now for places, and just tenants won't have a place to go. Yeah. And there's such a limited amount of people that want to rent their own principal residence, or maybe their suite in their own house because they're nervous. Is the people going to pay me? Are they going to leave? Are they going to mess it up? You're just seeing that rental market it's hard to find a place to rent. So,
okay, enough about the market.
Yeah.
Enough about the market. Let's talk a little bit about leadership, because you're an absolute leader. Your leadership skills, and I really respect them, by the way, really respect them. Did that come out of your prima powers, your DNA, or did you foster that? Did you work at your leadership, and what can you attribute to it?
I mean, I've always wanted to be the guy in charge. I've always wanted to be, I went through a business partnership in real estate where it was 50-50, where it was a co-brand. And I realized after 12 months that I'm not meant to be in a partnership.
Can we talk about that quickly?
Yeah.
Because I am so with you on that. If you're thinking about building a team, I'd really, really caution against doing it with somebody else. And don't bring two friends together and say, hey, let's do something.
Yeah,
you could speak on that.
I have some good points of that, or what I would do differently. It's not to say that the person that I chose was a bad choice. I think it was a great choice. But people operate at a different level. Mm-hmm. I operate up here. Mm-hmm. It's going to be different from somebody that has 3 kids and operates a little bit less. That's fine. That's normal. But what I would change is if you are pairing up with somebody, is if you are pairing up, you do not do 50-50. 50-50 is the worst you can do. What you can do is you can do like a 90-10, where if it's your transaction, you're 90%. The other person gets a small fee to feel like they're part of something and it's a win. I always feel like something's better than nothing. We celebrate the wins together. 5% or 10% is not going to break the bank for the other person, but you're going to feel like a partnership and you're both winning at life. I feel like if I did a partnership again, it would be a 95-5 or nothing else.
Right.
You crank out deals, you get 95. I get 5 just because I'm part of this and it's a win. That's how I would do it. And I think that model would work. Too many people trying to figure out these splits. Who did more? Who did less? No. Right out of the gate. You do the deal. You're the majority person.
Yes.
Make the choice. That's what I would do differently.
Right. Yeah. I've just rarely seen partnerships work in real estate. Rarely.
Unless it's like a father-son.
Well, that's different.
Because that's unconditional started
love.
with Dad, and we sat at the dinner table one day, and I'll never forget this. I was 19 years old. I had my real estate license, and he says, the day that we argue about money is the day we go our separate way. And I really thought about that every time, and I always felt like, Dad, man, I did so much work on this. Like, how is it 50-50? Because we did 50-50 for 15 years. I wouldn't be there if it wasn't for Dad. But I'm not going to argue with my father about who gets $1,500 or more, right? And so that was fine with Dad. I think that relationship is fine. But when it comes to like a friend, no. You need to make it very clear off the bat. You need to have it in writing right out of the gate, right? For me, for being a team leader, I have 2 kinds of people that work with me. I have somebody that's my right-hand person, and I have somebody that's under the TCG brand. You make a choice. I have rock star agents that just do their own thing under the brand because they love the brand, and there's a split decision made there, and they do their own thing. I don't have any contact with them on what they're doing. And then there's my right-hand people, like Caroline and Nairi, who help me on every single transaction and get a nominal split amount. They get a split amount on every deal because they help me.
Right.
Okay, so there's 2 types of people on a team. I felt like that works really well. Then I have my admin, my life, Diane, who does all the admin. But it's either you're going to be a branded team player and you're going to be a right-hand person. Those are 2 types of team members on my team.
Love it. That was part of the discussion back in Toronto that I had last week. I was on a panel about profitable teams and splits and all this. And there's just so many ways to do it. That's the beauty of real estate. There's many, many ways to do it and personalities to do it. So love that. Who are some of your influencers besides your dad?
Yep.
He's rock solid in all this. But do you have any other people that have influenced your life, your leadership, your decisions?
Yeah, there's been some old school realtors that I've really learned a lot from back in the day. Bob Edwards. Tom Edwards is his son, North Delta. Bob Edwards has passed, but Bob taught me a lot in the business when I started. In fact, he dated my grandmother, so I was around him a lot. He'd always come over and talk about my grandma because he'd be dating her at the time. Tom's probably watching this. Tom, it's always been a good laugh when I see him. But and then Rob Drysdale, who was with Home Life back in the day.
Yep.
Rob's kind of an old school agent that really just is just great with people. And when I started, he really helped me along. We hand wrote contracts back in the days, right? So he really corrected some of my stuff to help me out. And I'll never forget Rob because we sold a condo together and Rob went and photocopied all the strata documents because it wasn't going to come in time. So he copied them all for me and dropped them off at my house. And he highlighted things I should look for. He was the listing agent. I was the buyer's agent. And he highlighted things of what I should look for my buyer. I never forgot that, Rob.
Wow.
Like if you watch that, I feel like that's his top shelf. And there was another agent, Russ Nugent. He was with Remax Pro Group in Ladner.
Yep.
Russ has moved over to the island. He's at Qualicum Beach. But Russ sold a condo, 99.9 in the Highlands, Scott Road and Scott Road, and 72nd. It was 99.9. And Russ met me there on possession day, and he bought me a bottle of wine. I'll never forget this. I was the listing agent. He was with the buyer, and he brings me a bottle of wine and said, "This is my favorite bottle of wine. I pair it with my favorite pasta, my wife and I want you to experience it." I mean, I never forgot that. He just was a class act from start to finish. 3 old school agents that I'll never forget. That taught me sort of the basics. So now when I do a deal with a realtor, I bring him a bottle of wine. Russ, he made me do that.
Awesome. What would you tell your younger self, your 10-year-old younger self, what you know today, if you could go back in time?
By Facebook? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I would just...
By Facebook.
Yeah. I mean, if it was me looking back, I would have started the video game earlier. I would have started Instagram when it first came out. Advertising on those platforms back then were peanuts on the dollar. You could spend $1 and it would get maximum exposure. I started advertising online about 5 years ago. But when I got into the game about 9 years ago, it was peanuts on the dollar to advertise, and your platform just went everywhere. You could have grown your platform triple back advertising back then. So if I was to, I would have doubled down back then, realizing how much exposure was actually there. Now we're very restricted. Our dollar on a spend on Facebook works out to about 11 cents.
Right.
It's about 11 cents of exposure is what $1 gets you. Back then, $1 was like $5.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
wow.
Yeah, I would definitely would have started earlier in the game.
Okay. There you heard it. Get on video today. Let's clear that with a speed round.
Yeah.
A bit of a speed round. So, fine dining, Uber Eats, takeout, or home cooked meal.
Fine dining. I do love nice restaurants. I appreciate great food.
What's your favorite restaurant?
Wow, that's putting me on the spot. I mean,
there's just a restaurant that you like. Oh man,
there's so many in Vancouver that I've been to that have been great. There's a little Italian one. It's on Commercial Drive, but the chef actually recently passed away and they just renamed it. But it only seats 12 people and they don't have a phone and it's reservation only by walking by and there's usually a 3-hour wait. But I go there quite a bit with friends. It's a really good spot. There's no label on the door. There's nothing. It seats 12 people.
Wow.
It is
I need that.
the best. I'll send you the name.
Okay.
But it's renamed recently.
You like pasta?
Love pasta. Yeah, love pasta.
You've brought pasta up a couple of times.
Pasta's, it's amazing.
So what do you do when you let your hair down? Sounds like you got to go to CrossFit to work off the
Yeah, I go to CrossFit to work out. I go to Arizona quite a bit with good friends of mine who have houses there.
Yeah.
Love to golf. I'm hooked. Got this major addiction to golf right now. I take golf lessons, which I love. Also play a bit of guitar, which I love too.
Nice.
And working in the yard for me, oh my gosh, something about working in the yard just makes my
playing in the dirt. Yeah, we love.
It makes my brain resets my brain. So I love being outside.
What's your handicap?
I'm currently at about a 15.
Not bad.
So I kind of shoot in the mid 80s. I mean, I would love to break 80.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm kind of in the mid 80s.
Cool. Text, phone call, email, or in person?
Text. Yeah, just shoot me a text. I'll get back to you. And then second close would be in person.
Okay.
I really, people don't talk to each other anymore.
Right.
When I get in front of somebody, it's so easy to sit at the table.
What's the platform on text? WhatsApp, texting?
Yeah, WhatsApp.
WhatsApp?
Yeah, WhatsApp.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I find that's very easy. I love voice notes. Voice notes for me, whenever I set up a group chat, I don't text at all. It's all voice notes. And the reason for that is they really get a feel for me right off the bat. You can hear my voice. You can tell me what I'm feeling. You can tell my reaction. So I do a lot of voice notes on WhatsApp.
Video text?
I do video text for thank yous.
Okay.
So I'll do a video text for thanks for coming me over, evaluation. We sold your house. Congratulations. And I'll attach maybe a gift card for a restaurant. But yeah, I would do a video for something that's a special moment.
Awesome. Audio or book?
Still book.
Book.
Yeah.
Definitely good book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love book.
Last question. If you were a scratch and sniff sticker, so I came over and rubbed your shoulder,
Yeah.
what would I smell? What is Ty all about from that scratch and sniff sticker? I mean, I think there's
Sunscreen? I don't know, man. Like I don't know. A scratch and sniff. What am I?
Kind of alluded to a few things. You know, it could smell like the golf course or
Yeah, I'd probably smell like just like the ocean. There's something about the water.
Yeah.
I love the water. I know that you kite surf, I think. When I'm by the ocean and the water, oh man, it's
water special.
I just love the water. Whether it's a lake or an ocean, get me on the water. Love it.
Love it. Ty, this has been amazing. Amazing.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining me here on the Return to Life podcast.
Appreciate it.
And you guys got so much value today out of this conversation. So grateful.
Thanks, Randy.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.